Hello, and welcome to a secret bonus episode of Third Action. I'm your GM, Jason, and today we are only joined by one of our adventurers, Will.
Hi,
playing
it's me.
Dagnabber, Dwarven Rogue.
Character we've never met before. Completely new.
Definitely
Made him up.
never, ever met.
Yep. No idea who this guy is. It's completely different.
So, this is going to be pre-recorded, I suppose, if you're watching this live on, not live, if you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it in the podcast feed. This is coming at you from the past. Ooh. Thank you, Arcat. Just wanted to do a little bit of backstory stuff, since I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks. Figured we could fill that time with a little bit of story. So today we've got Will here, who's agreed to do a little bit of backstory for definitely not Greshy.
Yeah, somebody else. Totally, completely different. Has no relation. We just used the same art because it was convenient.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So, we join our hero 35 years prior to the events that we're currently enjoying in the main storyline. We find ourselves in Magnimar, the city of monuments. A rather vast and I guess old by Pathfinder standard city. It's been around for about 72 years at this point. Built up around some ancient Thessalonian ruins that kind of pockmark all of Varisia. There is a massive bridge, which I guess if I switch back to GM mode, you can see that way behind me. A bridge leading to nowhere. It looks like it was built to house giants or something of equally massive size and proportion. But the bridge itself has collapsed into the sea and is no longer in any real state of use. It's kind of like the main big landmark here in Magnimar. It's a couple days south along the Long Coast Road, which is the same road that Sandpoint is on. It's a little bit of just quick backstory on Magnimar. The city itself is separated into kind of two districts. The kind of upper districts, which is where basically all of the rich people live, and all the governing happens. The lower districts, however, are a bit more seedy. This is a pretty massive city, so there's definitely a big class divide here. It's I think the second largest city in all of Varisia. So quite a lot of people live, work here, and enjoy the fruits of progress, I suppose. And one of those such souls perhaps isn't necessarily enjoying progress
Getting by.
directly.
Living. Surviving. Doing all right.
Is an old man by the name of Dagnabber, or he certainly looks very old to everyone else around him. No one really knows where he came from. No one really knows where he's going. He's just a rather kind of short, most people presume human, old man, with big bushy eyebrows, who shaves his head every day, covered in nothing but rags as he wanders the city streets, begging for copper and coin. Our scene today opens with one old man Nabber sitting in a public square near a fountain with a small copper mug that he's shaking to ask for coin. How would you go about actually yeah, we'll lead it to you. How would you go about getting some coin this fine day? There's it's quite sunny out. People fill the market square. Not many people are taking notice of a sort of raggedy old man leaned up against a old stone building. There is a bard is currently playing on the opposite side of the fountain, and he is attracting far more customers than you are sympathizers. Many a rich noble is coming to watch and enjoy and clap and cheer. There are some city guard about, but they don't really pay much attention to a poor beggar such as yourself. Yeah, what do you do?
Well, for the most part, as I'm sitting here, begging is a pretty good cover for keeping an eye on things, on people, for seeing who's wandering about. So, a little annoyed though that this dandy over there that's playing the music kind of don't need the income, but it definitely makes it a little bit harder to track people if they're not walking by me, instead going and congregating over yonder. So if this has been going on for a while, I might actually get up and wander over and just see what the hubbub is about myself.
Okay, so you get up, dust off what new accumulated dust you've just picked up, and wander over to see what the fuss is about. Give me a perception check as you're kind of looking through the crowd here.
Sure, let's take a look here. Perception. Don't think that's right, actually. That's some shenanigans, but I'll take it. That is a natural 20 on that for a total. It says 28, but I'm pretty sure some of these are set wrong. It should be. No, actually, that is correct. It's a 28.
28.
Rogue is apparently expert in perception from level 1, which I thought was odd.
I guess we didn't. I did this offline, but I switched one of your stats back to wisdom to match Greshy's.
If you wanted to do it that way, that's fine.
Yeah. Only your key stat is swapped now that you're currently a rogue in the past. Okay, so natural 20, so 28. That is definitely a critical success to scan the crowd as well as this person who is playing. The bard up on stage is a dandy of a man. He's dressed in rather ridiculous refinery. Lots of myriad of colors, reds, blues, yellows, purples, all sorts of rich fabrics. His hair is very neatly coiffed. It's a kind of a golden blonde, clearly smoothed out with some kind of product that he likely got from the market. You've seen this type many a time before. This is definitely some rich noble's son. His playing is fine. Most of the people around are older women and younger girls who are infatuated with his looks. Even some male admirers have stopped to listen, but you can tell everybody's here more because of how he looks than how he necessarily plays. Yeah. There are quite a lot of people in the crowd, however. Many of them look quite wealthy and seem like they have quite deep pockets.
Well, not as convenient as some other ways of acquiring coin. I'd like to see would you say that this is causing enough of a distraction for me to kind of move about unnoticed?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, what's your passive stealth? So 10 plus your stealth
10
modifier?
plus stealth. Where's stealth? It's under dex. Should be 16 would be passive 16. Stealth.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of slip around through the crowd. Nobody's paying attention to someone like you.
Oh, good.
Not unless you get too close. You do have a bit of an odor, so you're maybe a little conscious of that, but
sure. But mostly I'm just meandering through the crowd, just kind of keeping an eye out for things. If there's looking for probably a gentleman who has a bit more coin than he knows what to do with. Ideally, one who would, when coin gets to be too much for one bag, might carry another.
Okay. Yeah. So you're looking through the crowd, and you do manage to spot with that. I'll keep that critical success there. You do manage to spot a younger, maybe only it's like a probably human male, maybe in his early 20s, has kind of 3 fat sacks of coin jangling from his belt as he claps along to the performance. It started to get like a kind of a rhythm going, and the crowd is starting to clap, and he's jauntily clapping along with it.
All right. I would... Ideally, what I do would be to saddle up near somebody who's next to them, bump them into him, and then as they recover, see if I could just walk by and take one of those bags for myself. Depends on how well they're tight, I suppose.
Okay. So you go for the old nabber special. You bump someone, they tumble into this man. He's distracted for a brief moment. Go ahead and roll thievery to see if you manage to
This
pull
could
this
be
off.
Oh, it's a 19 on that. Just
Okay.
checking one thing. Nope,
Hey,
that's a
excellent.
19. Yes.
Okay. 19 is success. You beat his his measly perception. He's none the wiser as you have a dagger, right?
Oh, I just kind of snipped that along the
you
way.
kind of you sidle up past him, quickly draw your dagger, slice across the his belt, and one of those sacks just falls right into your open palm, and you kind of just tuck it into your sleeve as you make your way out through the crowd.
Well,
would you like to find another mark or in the crowd? Or
I think that'll do for now. I'd rather not push my luck here. There's other squires, I'm sure, that don't have fancy boys prancing about trying to make money for no good reason.
Okay.
So I would start making my way away from there, especially in case he's a bit more perceptive than I thought he would be.
Okay, so you make your way down the street, heading further to the south to try and get away and count the coin that you've just accumulated. Open up the bag, fumble with the coins, and you see that you've gotten looks like about 30 copper, 10 silver, and one nice shiny piece of gold.
Might get me a nice room for tonight, at least. A couple of drinks, something. Could see Ruby.
Certainly more than the handful of copper you got.
Oh, definitely.
Most of the day.
Definitely made out better now. We'll see. We'll see how far it goes. But for now, that will do for that square. Now, should make my way over someplace else, see if there's another crowd gathered. Maybe another market, like a farmer's market, something like that. I like crowds because, especially if they're already in the spending mood, they're a little bit more willing to just give when they see somebody looking disheveled and homely as I might be.
All right. So you turn and look back into the daylight because you're kind of tucked into an alley, and sort of slowly shamble your way back, tucking the coin pouch into your clothes. And as you do so, as you're like stepping out of the alley, 3 men step out and kind of surround you. Not fully surround you, but I guess from the front.
Sure. Kind of block my path there.
Yeah. Oi there. You got some coin? Looks like you got another mark there, Mr. Old Nabber. Says the one in front, who he looks a little bit though he is dressed in thuggish clothing, it all looks kind of new. The other 2 associates with him are both wearing much more weathered clothing, but this guy looks like someone playing the part of a thief.
Of course, somebody who doesn't seem to take even seriously. Well, and what can I do for you, gentlemen? What do you want?
We heard you haven't been paying your dues to the local gang. We thought we'd see about fixing that.
Well, see, here's the problem. I don't belong to no local gang. Never have. So I don't see myself owing anybody anything.
Look, you can't. You know this is Nightscale's territory, right?
I'm aware. And your point?
And he kind of holds out his hand for the pouch.
I draw my dagger.
The two men on either side draw their daggers as well.
Well, is this how the Nightscales like to do it then? Have your men do your business for you?
We're not asking for all the coin, just a little bit off the top. If you want to keep operating in our territory, that's the price that comes with it.
Greshy sighs and starts pulling the bag out. Well, let's see.
The two men kind of relax and resheath their daggers.
He'll just go through and pull out 10 copper to start with. See if and put that in the outstretched hand. There you go.
He curls his hand around the coins. Give me a bluff check, I guess.
All right. Deception. I'm actually trained technically, but
oh yeah, deception.
That's a 6 on that roll there.
He opens his hand and kind of jingles the coins around, just kind of tosses them up loosely and catches them. That purse there looked a lot heavier than that, old man.
Greshy will pull out the other 20 copper and toss it in.
That's what we're talking about.
Got the wrong coin purse. It was all copper.
Right. Well, if you ever want to get in with the big boys, maybe we can do a little bit more of a amiable arrangement between us at some point. Well, I think the boss says that you know where we are.
Yeah, I've heard.
He turns and begins to walk away and whistles, and his two goons follow him out into the street.
Better fights to fight than that. Oh, all right. Greshy will stow the bag again and sheath his dagger before looking for that market someplace else. Kind of cuts into it what little profit he was making there.
Okay. So you end up going to go look for another market square. Give me. So you have Magnimar lore still, correct?
I do.
Okay. Give me a roll of that Magnimar lore.
See how bad it could be. Hey, another 4, so total of 8 this time.
Total of 8. Okay. You go wandering about the city looking for another nice market square to insert yourself. And unfortunately, better part of a few hours pass before you finally find it's kind of like the tail end of market hours now. The sun is starting to set on the horizon. Orange hues bathe the city. And there's some people around, but not too many.
Well,
It's not quite the crowd you wanted.
It's a little bit more risky to steal straight up, and more importantly, I want to be able to keep an eye out easily without being seen.
Yeah, currently there's it looks like a vendor who's selling various fruits and vegetables. He's got about, there's just 2 people at his stall. One person's currently buying some things, or is kind of haggling with him. Another person is just looking through his stock. There's another vendor nearby selling clothes. There doesn't look like there's anybody in their shop. or at their stall. They're just kind of adjusting the racks. And a third vendor who's selling small figurines. No one's in their shop either, and truth be told, they're actually sitting at their sort of desk, and appear to be asleep. They seem to have nodded off.
Well,
and there's a few other people just kind of scattered around the square.
Kind of like to peek my eye into the figurine shop real quick. What kind of figurines are they?
You look around, they all appear to be made of various materials, some wood, some made of metal, coppers, and that sort of thing. But a few are actually made of glass.
Interesting. Not sure what their value is at all, though. They'd just be kind of nice.
The prices listed are fairly expensive.
Sure.
For these small figures.
It's more of a question of who would buy it from me at that point. Kind of curious about the glass figurines, though. What kinds might they have?
They have a lot of various animals. Many are in the shape of various birds.
Mm-hmm.
They do have a few more exotic animals that you've only heard about: lions, tigers, bears. Oh my!
Of course. Any horses?
Yes, there are a few horses. They seem to be in a few different colors of tinted glass.
Sure.
But one that actually stands out to you is a glass dog figurine. It is this kind of, it's tinted this eerie blue color. That almost gives off a kind of glow to it in the light, but doesn't appear to be actually glowing.
Well. And he does appear to be asleep, this shopkeeper, or they, I should say.
Perception?
Yes. It's 23 total.
23, okay. So you carefully look around to make sure no one else is around. You eye the shopkeeper to see if, to try and sense if they're actually asleep, and yeah, you think so. They're maybe not deeply asleep, but like every once in a while they'll kind of and fall back asleep. So a loud noise might wake them, but
of course. So we'll make sure that the coin bag is properly stowed, and I am interested in that dog statue. Curious about the glow. Magic's not my forte, but perhaps somebody would be willing to buy it for a decent price if it's actually magical.
Okay, so you reach in and just yoink, pick up the statuette and tuck it into your clothes. No roll needed.
All right, guess he's asleep enough. Out of curiosity, at that food, the vegetable vendor, are they still a little bit distracted?
Yes. The customer who was haggling is still there, still haggling.
I'm going to go up to that vendor and pulling my robe up and over my head and looking all old manish and disheveled as much as possible, pulled out my copper mug and see if I can get him to give me a few carrots or something edible. Anything to eat, sir? Anything to spare?
Deception. Or persuasion.
Deception's gonna go. Oh wow, okay. That's another natural 20. This time for 22 total.
So you lay it on really thick,
as real thick as possible.
I guess laying it on thick is actually a bad thing, but in this case, you play the part perfectly, almost as if you were actually a
poor hungry old man
in need of food.
Strange.
The shopkeeper is older human male, kind of sagging skin, thick white beard, completely bald head. He turns and looks at you, and Well, I guess it's the end of the day. Here, you can have the leftovers. And he reaches down underneath one of the tables and pulls out a box, and plucks out a few, like a potato, a couple of carrots, and a head of broccoli, and just kind of hands them towards you.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you kindly. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you. And
Yeah,
Greshy
don't
will...
tell anybody else that.
Oh, of course
Yeah,
not, sir. Of course not.
Just the leftovers from yesterday.
So kind, so wonderful. Great. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Go get a bath or something. I don't want to see you around here again.
Of course, sir. Thank you, sir. And Greshy will make his way out of the little square there. And yeah, now he's got something to eat tonight, so less money he has to spend on that. That's nice.
Okay, so you find a, let's see. You go out looking for a place to kind of settle for the evening. And you end up heading down towards the underbridge area.
Mm-hmm. That's often where he ends up spending the night. The guards are a little bit less concerned about people sleeping down the alleys and in the streets there.
So if I can move this map a little bit. Cool. So you head to the underbridge, where the city, they don't tend to put guards there. It's pretty much just kind of freeform. And you just wander around looking for some place to kind of hide out for a bit. And you do find a large, what looks like an old clock tower, that looks incredibly abandoned. The clock time on the tower doesn't even look remotely correct. But the shadows beneath it look as safe a place as any to sort of chill out and eat some food.
It's all pretty dry down here, so
yeah.
Hopefully nobody will mind if I make a fire. So I'll see if there's any spare pieces of wood that might have come from the tower, or might be driftwood wandered up from the streets. Make myself
give
a little
me
fire.
a survival check to look for some old driftwood.
Sure.
The beach isn't too far away.
It's a natural one, unfortunately, for a total of 7.
Okay, well, you do manage to find a couple pieces of kindling. You try to start a fire, but it's just kind of smoldering. It's something. It's a little bit of warmth, but it's not.
I'll stick the potato in the coals then and see if it ever gets to be edible, and I'll just munch on carrots and broccoli for a little while as I rest here for... I might end up going over to the Shucked Oyster or something later tonight, but for now, just gonna try and stay out of the way.
Okay.
Are there any more, are there any of the gangs nearby at all?
You didn't see any. They also like to kind of hang out in the just lower city in general, so especially at night. So you wouldn't be surprised if you ran into some, but you haven't seen any recently. Nobody nearby. Seems like a fairly...
Well, I haven't made any more hauls, so I've got nothing to give up, but just want to be on the lookout just in case.
Okay.
Fair enough. So
you have a fairly cold evening. I guess it's kind of lukewarm. It is sort of mid Chthona, which is Pathfinder December, so it is quite chilly at night, and by the time it gets to be roughly 8 or 9, the fire has completely gone out, and you're feeling pretty cold.
That's a bit much. Okay. I may need to go out and see if I can find more firewood, or maybe I will just make my way over to an inn. I'm sure I could buy a room for the night if need be.
Okay.
I think I'll do that. I'll try and find some sort of lodging for the night, or at least a place to stay while the cold kicks in.
Okay. As you make your way down an alley, you hear a strange sounds like something slamming, like like two carts crashing into each other, like wood on wood clashing, and a loud, like guttural.
Which direction? Whichever direction it's coming from, I'd like to go check it out. I'm a little concerned about what the heck that's all about.
Okay, you duck around an alley, around some corners to sort of peek out and see what was the source of this noise. You see a what looks like a kind of a wagon cart, and a large piece of stonework that's kind of slammed into it. You also see quite a lot of blood on the ground, and you just catch the glimpse of a what looks like a corpse, a body being dragged out of the light around a corner.
I'm gonna sneak around and see where this body's being dragged to. It's a bit concerning.
The trail of blood is fairly obvious even in the dark.
Right. I'm just trying to stay more or less not noticed if possible by whatever's doing this dragon.
Yeah, so you approach the wall that it sort of went around, and you can hear the sounds of teeth gnawing at flesh. Just low crunching of bone. Do you peek around the corner?
Yeah, I would like to know what's eating a corpse in the middle of a city.
You peek around the corner and you see what looks like a massive human, like a really, really big person. Maybe a giant, who knows? But it doesn't look normal. Its flesh is warped. It's got a large hump on its back. Its face is kind of distorted, and it's tearing into this body as if it were just a measly little snack. Unfortunately, it sees you. It looks up as you peek out, and its eyes flash red, and it stands towering like 3 times your height.
I'm running. Get the fuck away from that thing.
You
I have no
bolt
desire
down
to
the
fight
street.
anything that size.
You
Greshy
run
just
down
nopes the
street.
fuck right out of there. Nope. Oh god, oh fuck, what the hell was that? Okay. So is it chasing me? Is it behind me at all?
Once you stop and catch your breath, you look back down the street, and it doesn't seem to have followed you.
Well, that's okay. I don't even know who to tell about that. There's no guards down here. I think, fuck, I don't want to deal with them, but the Night Scales would probably be the people to tell if anybody were to be told about it. Do I know where they often congregate?
Yes, you do. I can try and remember what part of the city that's in. They tend to congregate in the Low Cleft district.
Okay, it's a little further than I'd like to go, but I could start making my way in that direction. And I'd rather deal with them than deal with anybody else who likes to make themselves known down here. Got a smattering of honor.
Let's adjust the map a bit. Do some magic.
Magic moments. My rolls,
Okay.
I got a 20 and then a 1 right after it. It's pretty good.
There we go. Okay, so you make your way looking for the Yes, it would suck if Dagnabber dies here and causes a time paradox.
Well, we've already established Dagnabber is not Greshy. Surely, completely different people.
Yeah, it's just a doppelganger assuming his
Just very
body.
similar in certain manners, but not the same at all.
Okay, so you sneak your way through the city looking for the night scales. And you, with a bit of, well, give me a, let's do a Magnimar lore check.
Sure.
To see if you can.
How bad could it be this time? 15 on this roll. It's not
Okay.
so bad.
Yeah, you've already had a few run-ins with them, so you've heard plenty about where they like to congregate. They are currently at kind of headquartered at an old seedy bar in the lower cleft called Grandma's Jaw. And
Quite the name.
You approach the building, and you can see there's two kind of bouncery types outside. Ruffians, certainly.
Sure. Well, I'll approach them and... I'm just going to try and walk in, see if they'll just let me in. I'm sure I look like I belong.
You approach, and one of them sort of puts out his arm to stop you.
Mm-hmm.
What's your business here?
Need to talk to whoever's in charge.
The two bodyguards look at each other. You got the coin for that?
Pretty sure I paid them my dues earlier today.
Paid your dues, huh?
Some dandy thief decided it was my time to pay, so I did.
Persuasion.
I should just... Oh, that's performance. It's probably...
That's-
Oh,
No, go ahead and roll your actual
yeah, sure.
diplomacy.
17.
17. Okay. The two of them look at each other and look at you. Well, if you've already paid, I can't be bothered stopping you. Go on. Just don't cause any trouble, old man.
Old man. Greshy will stomp into the bar. Let's see where this bastard who runs this shit is.
Okay. You step into the bar and you can see lots of these similar clothed ruffians, all drinking and talking very loudly. A rough-looking bartender that you're sure has never attended a bartending class in his life is at the bar. And there's one kind of larger table off in the corner of the room, around which sits a group of we'll say loose women, and a couple of posher looking men.
Do I recognize any of the three who decided they needed to come collect earlier?
Yes, you see. Well, you don't see the two bodyguards there. You do see the lead one. He's sitting at the table. He doesn't seem to be the leader of all of them. He seems to be kind of a subordinate. He looks like he's sucking up to the man who's really in charge, who maybe isn't too much older than he is. Everyone here is fairly young. They're maybe in their 20s to 30s.
They're not in a line of work that lends itself to surviving much.
Right.
Seems sensible. Well, I'm gonna go up to this bartender, as it were. Like to buy 3 pints of whatever 3 pints they serve are. And I'm going to bring one.
And we got 2 nights.
Then 2 nights it is. 3 pints of that.
He grunts and makes his way over to a barrel, taps it, and brings over the 3 pints to you. 3 copper.
All right. I'll toss a silver. So I gave all my copper away, and I'm kind of broke otherwise. Somebody already collected that. But I'll give him a silver and take the pints.
He looks at you, smiles, and nods, and takes the silver.
And then I will walk over to the table with all the fancy folk. I'll set one in front of the gentleman who was kind enough to take my dues, the one he's sucking up to, and then I'll keep one for myself.
Okay.
As I pull a stool up from another table to sit down with them.
As you do, as you like slam the drinks on the table, or are you just like laying them, or like?
Oh no, it's not a very gentle settling, to be sure.
So it's just kind of like a drop onto the table. So
Here,
thunk, thunk. They were paying zero attention to you until you dropped the beers on the table, and everybody around the table just kind of falls silent. Old Nabber, what are you doing here? Says the sly one from earlier.
Well, thought you might. Maybe, probably not. More like there's oddities afoot in Underbridge, and seemed like your folk might be more interested in dealing with it than, say, the guards would. Especially since it likes to kill people. It's really hard to be taking their money if they're dead.
As if we care. People go missing in Underbridge all the time.
What if it was your people?
Our people know to ignore the Underbridge. That's just for the poor, the out of luck, the miserable souls. They don't need any help from us. Now, if they could pay dues as well, then I don't know, maybe we'd see about it.
Fair enough. And now, seems about right as to why I haven't joined you fucks in the first place. But and Greshy will dig into his coin pouch and produce a gold coin.
Who you calling a fuck? Says one of the women.
I wasn't talking to you, lass.
Yeah, well, I'm talking to you. She kind of stands up.
All right, well, I'm still not talking to you, so you go right ahead and continue talking. I was talking to these other fucks over here.
Charlie, get this man out of here. He's bothering me.
Greshy will pull the gold coin from that he got earlier and place it on the table. Can I at least borrow a couple of your men to take a look at this mess? See if it is actually worth your time or not?
The younger gentleman from before, he kind of takes a deep breath, and he's about to respond when the leader kind of cuts him off. How many men do you need?
Only a couple, I imagine. I just mostly would like you to see what I saw. And perhaps if it's bad enough as it seems, to deal with it. Giants or whatever the like it was don't seem to be particularly good thing to have in Magnimar, especially since it likes to eat people.
He drags the gold coin across the table to himself and picks it up and turns it over. I'll give you 2 men.
Yes, sir. Just for tonight. Seems
Jinx.
reasonable. I already bought you the beer that I owe you, so
he knocks on the table.
Well, maybe somebody tougher than Dandy here, and definitely going to be gesturing towards the guy who I bought the other beer.
I don't know. I think Dandy could use a bit of frightening. Dandy, you're up. Squids, you two. Oh, why me? Big guy in the back complains.
Well, we'll need somebody to stay behind in case there's trouble.
Oh, I don't wanna. I was just gonna... Squids, just go. You two.
It'll be fine.
Dandy. He kind of chuckles to himself. Dandy gets up in a huff and pushes his way past the women. Fine, let's get this over with.
All right, I'll take you over to where I saw it. It's a bit of a walk, though. Hope you got your hiking boots on.
Give me a minute. You go outside. I'll get my things.
All right, I'll go outside and wait for a few minutes.
Okay, Squid follows you out. He's a big hulking man. Yeah, maybe 7 feet tall.
He's twice as tall as I am.
Yeah, incredibly wide. He just stomps out of the bar, still carrying his mug of ale, and he's like quaffing it down. After a few minutes, Dandy comes walking out as well, with a bit of a swagger. Fine. Where's this thing you want to show us?
It's in Underbridge. See what's left by the time we get there. It's a bit of a walk.
Okay. And he looks around a little bit, and lead the way.
Sure.
Says,
And I shall do so. Lead them over to where I saw whatever creature that was.
okay, so you head back to the Underbridge. Oop. Make your way back to the area with the clock tower, and find your way back to that same alley that you saw last time. The two thugs with you are both human, so they've brought they both have lanterns with them.
Sure. It's pretty dark down here.
Yes, it's certainly dark underneath the underneath the bridge.
And nobody bothers to light any lanterns or nothing, so
Yeah,
smart
not
move on
really.
their part.
There's a couple of trash fires that some of the other homeless have, but not a lot. But yeah, they follow you up to the same corner, and you turn around the alley, and nothing's there. Just a pile of blood, or a pool of blood, I should say.
Well, any trails leading away from here of blood, or is it just what's there and that's it?
Survival or survival, I think.
Survival, sure.
Yeah.
19 on that one.
19. You approach the scene and start searching see if you can find any tracks, blood or otherwise. Squids is just kind of standing there, and Dandy kind of nudges him and is like whispering something to him behind your back, I suppose. You can hear the whisper, but you can't quite make out.
Can't quite make it out.
Yeah.
Aye.
But you do find it looks like maybe whatever this thing was did step in the blood a little bit, and there's like just a hint of a blood trail leading in the direction of the clock tower.
Fun. You mates ever been in this clock tower before?
They both look up. They look at you, kind of surprised by the sound of your voice as they were kind of whispering to each other. Oh, the clock tower? No.
Well,
Not really.
shall we take a look, see? Seems whatever killed this thing has decided to go in there for now.
Oi, oi, boss, says Squids, whose accent probably just changed. And I can't keep accents straight, you guys. I think Dandy has already changed accents like 3 times. Maybe he's doing that on purpose. Dandy looks back behind him and around. Sure, he says, kind of shifty.
What's the matter? You seem a little bit worried about something.
Sense motive? Oh, perception to sense motive.
Perception? That would be that one. That's a 15 on that roll.
I just don't want to be surprised by anything.
Oh, sure.
You can get he's looking for something. You're not sure what he's looking for.
Interesting. Well, we'll see. So
is something that you don't?
Perhaps. Is there a street level entry to the clock tower proper?
Yes, there is.
Then
and in fact, that's where the blood leads.
Perfect. So he didn't like do any weird climbing or nothing. Just went right in. Well, I guess we'll take a look right in as well. I'll try and be a bit sneaky about it and motion to the others to try and keep them from making too much of a racket or being too distracting there.
Okay. So you, the 3 of you, make your way slowly towards the entrance of the clock tower. You can see all of the windows of the tower are barred from the outside. They've got like wooden planks nailed up over all of the windows. The massive double doors that lead inside are not boarded up from the inside. Or, sorry, not boarded up from the outside, rather. But they look very old. And as you approach, if you try and push the door or pull the door open, you can tell that they seem to be barred from the inside.
Sure. Okay.
But the trail definitely went through here.
But they're barred from the inside now?
Yes.
Okay. Don't suppose either of you lads brought a crowbar or anything of the sort?
Well, we brought Squids here.
Squids, you think you can get the door open?
Leave it to me. He stomps over towards the door, and his big hulking hands, which are like the size of your head, grapple onto the doors and are gonna try and force it open. He pulls, and it kind of rattles a bit. Pulls some more, rattles a bit. Tries again. Pulls some more, keeps rattling. The wood starts to splinter a bit, but no good, boss. Ah, well, looks like we have to give up for today. Great seeing you, old man. But I got things to do.
Give up for today, Dandy.
Yep. Giving up.
Are you planning to come back another day?
Nah, I think you've got it from here. And he turns and starts walking away.
Squids, does Dandy usually an asshole?
Kinda, yeah.
You mind seeing if we can get the bars off the window instead?
Okay. And he stomps over to one of the windows and you follow. And this is much easier to do. It's kind of, there's 2 sort of cross beams and another layer of bars. And he it pulls back and managed to pop the nails and kind of bend the wood backwards on the first crossbeam. And And as he's doing so, give me a perception check.
Sure. Perception's down over here. That's an 18 on that roll.
18. Okay. So as he's doing that, you hear the faintest footsteps coming from behind you. More than one set of footsteps.
I'm going to try and subtly draw my dagger as I turn to look.
Okay. You carefully draw your dagger and turn around, and you can see 6 thugs, all dressed in black, step out from alleyways. And that is where we will end the first part of this for tonight. Farewell.